This is Robert Kraft, and I'm coming to you live on SNN.Live, and we're at the LD Micro Invitational 2019 in Bel Air, California. With me right now is Auwal Isa-Odidi from Intellipharmaceutics. It's a publicly traded company, two symbols for you, IPCI on the TSX and IPCIF on the OTCQB. Auwal, welcome to SNN.Live.
Thank you very much.
It's great to have you on. So, for our audience, let's start off with an overview of the company, and then we'll go from there.
Sure thing. Intellipharmaceutics is a drug delivery platform company. We make and develop pharmaceutical products, but we have an approach that is very much based off of technology platforms that allow us to create products across many indications that are largely improvements on existing drugs out there.
Got it. So, let's get a history of the company. When did it start, and how did you develop to where you're currently at today?
Sure thing. The company started around 1998, and originally it was actually a generics firm. It was started by Dr. Isa and Dr. Isa-Odidi, who are actually my parents, and also previously chief scientists at a company called Bel, which eventually turned into Valiant, which a lot of viewers might be familiar with. But you know, as a generics company, they very much focused on hard-to-develop generics using sophisticated technology platforms. And recently, what we've done is actually taken that approach and advanced it to a 505(b)(2) regulatory pathway approach. And some people might be familiar in the sense that is an accelerated regulatory pathway that allows you to, if you have an innovation that's an improvement on existing drugs, to hit the market faster and hit the market with a few less expenditures. So that's sort of a brief overview of the history and how we got to our current business model.
Got it. Mm-hmm. So how would you say the company's technology and medical technology platform is different and unique when compared to its peers?
So really, it's about the sophistication of our technology. And you know, I'm sure a lot of companies come out here and say we have the most innovative platforms, we have the best technology. But for us, it comes down to how does your drug development process actually look like, and how does it work? So what I really like to do is focus on our one of our flagship products, which is our abuse-deterrent Oxycodone extended release product. This is something we've been developing for a while. It's in a very controversial space. It's in an area where we feel there's a lot of innovation required for patients in order to keep them safe. I'm sure a lot of people are very familiar with the opioid crisis and how harmful a lot of these drugs have been. So, our formulation is based off of two of our technology platforms. One, our controlled release platform, which allows us to create, extremely effective controlled release products. And two is our drug safety platform, which is a combination of technologies that create various abuse deterrents and overdose protecting aspects into certain drugs. So, our ADF Oxycodone ER uses both of these platforms, and as I mentioned, we recently submitted to the FDA. We actually got a PDUFA date, which is a Prescription Drug User Fee Act date of August 28th, which is essentially the goal date for the FDA to review. And as part of that review, you can actually look at a briefing document that was released by the FDA in July 2017, which outlines sort of how our abuse deterrent properties compare to the current drug on the market, Oxycontin, and really just goes into more details into how our technology is, in our opinion, largely superior, provides better safety profiles for patients while maintaining the same amount of efficacy. And this is basically how we approach all the different drugs in our pipeline. It's all about making them safer or making them more effective, making them easier for patients to take, thereby providing value for the patients while also allowing us to take advantage of accelerated regulatory pathways and a great business model.
Got it. So I wanted to actually follow up on that, on the pipeline and where you're at in the clinic. And you hit on this a little bit, but I saw a recent news release that you did have something that recently got FDA approval. So can you elaborate on that and then also the rest of the pipeline?
Sure. We have a legacy pipeline of generic products that we're still getting approval for. So that's probably what you read in terms of our recent news, is one of our generic products getting approval, and that sort of speaks to the diversified nature of our business. We have other areas that we can monetize while we fight the battles of getting drugs, new innovative drugs approved through the FDA. In terms of just sort of expanding more on on the recent news and the advancement of the pipeline, really what we are focused on is that Oxycodone ER. A lot of the news you're going to hear over the next few months are going to be around that. But on top of that, we also actually recently released a press release about our cannabinoid delivery platform and our efforts in creating a cannabinoid product line. We were recently licensed by the government of Canada as a drug manufacturer of CBD products. This is actually not a very easy license to get. You really have to be a traditional pharma company, CGMP approved. It's not something you see amongst a lot of these postdocs and regular cannabis companies. But really it helps demonstrate how our technology platform can be used across multiple types of indications and multiple types of active ingredients. One of those being cannabinoids. A question we get asked a lot is, are you a pain company? Because so much of the focus has been on our opioid product. We're not a pain company. We are a drug delivery platform company. That means we are indication agnostic. We look at hard to develop drugs. We look at existing products on the market, and we see how can we make those better while maintaining very strong patent protection and allowing us to execute on our business model to the benefit of ourselves, our investors, and patients, of course.
And what's your background? I mean, how'd you come into all this, other than the fact that your parents helped found the business?
So my background is, as I hope a lot of kids of entrepreneurial parents do. I set out on my own pretty early after I got my MBA. Instead of going to Intelli right away, I actually moved to New York and started a tech company with some friends of mine. We were in essentially the data space. We provided analytical tools for companies that are interested in live video audiences. I sold that company just about a year ago. We had some interesting clients, Nielsen, YouTube, Amazon. I had a really good time with that. But after we had sold it, I felt now I was ready to come to the family business. There was a lot of excitement around the potential Oxycodone ER approval, as well as one thing I brought to the table was sort of helping spearhead the cannabinoids pipeline. Just as an entrepreneur myself now, as the son of entrepreneurs, looking at the business, looking at the growth opportunities, I thought this is where I want to be for the foreseeable future, because there's a lot we can do here.
And from what you can tell me, what are some of the company's growth drivers now moving forward?
Well, I've definitely hit upon the Oxy a lot, so I'll actually speak to the other aspects of the pipeline. The pipeline, our 505(b)(2) pipeline specifically is 7 product candidates strong. Outside of Oxycodone, we have 2 Oxycodone ER. We have 2 others that have been announced. One is actually Oxycodone immediate release, but the other one is a pregabalin formulation, which is designed to be a competitor to Pfizer's drug Lyrica. And I can't really go into the science too much now. I don't think it would work out too well in this format. But essentially, we're applying our controlled release platform to create a more improved version of Lyrica which is currently an immediate release, but is a controlled release version that is also superior. We believe it will be superior to Pfizer's Lyrica controlled release that they recently brought to the market as well.
And Auwal, where can our audience go and find more information about Intellipharmaceutics?
Well, they can definitely find more information on our website. They can also email us at investors@intellipharmaceutics.com. We're extremely responsive. Our phone number is there as well. If you call and you ask for me, you'll get me 100% of the time.
My name is Robert Kraft, and I'm coming to you live on SNNLive, and we are again at the LD Micro Invitational 2019 in Bel Air, California. With me has been Auwal Isa-Odidi from Intellipharmaceutics, publicly traded company, 2 symbols for you, IPCI on the TSX and IPCIF on the OTCQB. Auwal, thank you for joining me
Thank you very much.